Okay, good morning. So we're starting now Reish Samach Gimel, the halachas of hadlokas neiros, of lighting Shabbos candles. Yehizoy, says the Mechaber Sif Aleph, Yehizoy lasos ner yofa. A person should be careful to make a nice candle, a nice light for Shabbos. V'yesh mechavne lasos shtei pesila. Some have the kavanah to make two wicks, echot keneged zocher ve'echot keneged shamar. Says the Ramah, v'yechoden lahisif lahadlik shleisha arba neiros. You can add 3 or 4 candles. If a woman forgets 1 week to light, she should light an extra candle. That you can be moisif. You can't go down, you can go up and not down. Okay, let's see Mishnah Berurah Aleph. Yehizahir v'hine ikar hadlokas haner hu chayva mishum mitzvahs einik Shabbos. Why do we light Shabbos candles? It's a mitzvah of einik Shabbos. Umach mas hidur mitzvah yir lasos yofe v'ayin lekaman siman reish samach daled seif vav. So there, if you look in footnote 2, he says kosva shulchan aruch she mitzvah namuchad lahadlik b'shemen zayis. That's considered the hidur to light with olive oil. Why? Well, b'tam adova kosva Mishnah Berurah sham she'oirei shel shemen zeh. It's a clearer thing that the oil seems to go up the wick in a clearer fashion, and therefore it produces a better light. And therefore the hidur mitzvah is in the shalheves, is in the flame that should be nice. He says, interestingly, he adds the next line, when it comes to Neh Chanukah, we talk about a nice menorah and a nice wick. Here it's the oil, the flame, and the illumination, because the real Einik Shabbos is the fact that it spreads light, either in the home for Shalom Bayis, or because of it enhances the actual food. The more illumination there is, the actual food tastes better. It's part of the achila. That's why the Gemara says that a summa never satiated, because the summa can't see the food as much. And eating, you eat with your eyes as well as with your stomach. Says the Mishnah Berurah Yofer, you should find a ner Yofer. V'issa b'shas t'zoicha v'uzel lebonim tamidei chachomim. T'chsiv ki ner mitzvah v'toira al yidei ner mitzvah d'Shabbos ba'or ha'toira. U'lekach roishi tispalal isha acha shetigma hadloka v'habracha. A woman therefore should daven after she lights and after she says the bracha sheyitin HaKadosh Baruch Hu bonim zucharim me'irim b'toira, to have children who will illuminate the world in Torah. Vadlokas haner tzarich lios b'chol hachadarim shehelech sham b'Shabbos. It's not just limited to the dining room where you're eating, but it should be there should be light in all the rooms that you're going to use over Shabbos. I'll call upon him ner echad, at least minimally one candle. Nowadays with electricity, then that's easy to do. Af she'ena eichel sham, even if you're not eating there. Kadesh leikosha beitz ve'evan, like you shouldn't stumble, which is the other aspect of lighting candles for Shabbos, for Shalom Bayis, that people shouldn't fall over, and that will cause anxiety and tension in the house. However, the bracha that you make is on the ner b'mokam achila. Okay, Gimel. Sif Kosim Gimel. So we say, we make 2 pesilos. Says the Mishnah Berurah Gimel, if a person's got a limited budget, better to have 1 good candle than 2 bad ones. That means if you've got, imagine like a bowl of oil, then you put 2 wicks in. That's what the Lashon of the Mechaber is referring to, the Ramah. The Mechaber. But if you're lighting with candles, then then you just do 2 candles. If you've got 1 candle, you can actually then light the second candle from the first candle. So whether you're lighting 2 or more, it's not considered a bizu mitzvah. With hadlokas neiros of Chanukah, we have a shamash. That's la'ira as well, but we don't light from 1 candle to the next. That's considered bizu mitzvah. Why is this different? Because that was all considered parts of the mitzvah. But to take the ner Shabbos and then to use that to light just a regular thing, that you shouldn't do. Mishum bizu mitzvah. That's considered a bizayin. Interestingly, if you look at footnote number 6, he says, sometimes when you light with candles, you want to light the bottom of the candle just to put it under the flame so that it melts a little bit. It's soft, and then you put it into the candle holder. So can you do that? So if you light one candle, can you use the other candle to so in 6 he says not. Das aganu shemezam Orach shafal pisha shnei haneres heim lekavod Shabbos yesh b'zeh mishum bizu mitzvah ba'asa. So to light the second candle of the verse, that's okay, but to actually use it to melt the candle, the wax at the bottom, so that it sticks into the candle holder, that's already a bizu mitzvah. Okay, weiter. Sif Kotzen Hey. So we're at the beginning of Reish Samach Gimel Sif Aleph. So we have two candles. One is Keneged Zocher, one is Keneged Shomer. Says the Mishnah Berurah Sif Kotzen Hey. V'yeshem echad lasus neshel shaiva mishnei neiris kluim biyachad. Sometimes people they take one candle, but you've got two wicks. But it's that's how it's made. Zeicher lemasha omer Chazal the Zocher v'Shomer b'dibur echad nemer. You've got your Shomer and your Zocher wrapped up in one. Minhag haganu, it's a nice minhag. Avol oisen anoshim shemedabkin oisa b'shas hadloka smuchin zelazeh. But if they're putting the two wicks very close to each other, sheloi kadin oisin. Why? Ki lebesoif at the end mischamam ois zu mizu v'noitzef hashai v'alidezeh. If you've got two wicks which are too close together, actually it's going to cause everything just to drip all over the place, and it's not such a covet. The gam nichpolis v'nofles, and they'd also bend over and they'd fall. Also the hadik ner shel Shabbos mishava. You shouldn't make it from wax, which has been used for idolatrous purposes. Even if it was mutter in terms of strict halacha, because the non-Jewish person was mevatel it, he sort of annulled it for usage for that purpose. But to use this for mitzvah purpose, that's considered moos. And then you shouldn't do that. If there's nothing else, then the Prima Godim says it's okay. But don't make a bracha on it. See if you Okay. Now, if you want to be moisif candles, then you can. For yesh nagin sif got involved lahadlik shiva neiros. Some people have the minute to write 7 candles. Keneged shiva simei hashavua v'yesh asara keneged aseres hadibros. He says in number 11. What if the husband and wife have got different minhagim? Let's say she came from a family where they always like 10 Keneged Aseres Hadibros, and he came from a family where there were 7 for the days of the week. So interestingly, he says in 7, Chalukim Abav V'eshav Minhagim Binyan Mispah Neiros Kosu B'Shad Shuv Shevet HaLevi Sh'afa Pisha Ein Haish Yechol Lechav Es Abal Lohitzi Momen Al Neiros Nisofim K'pi Minhag. She can't force the husband to spend extra money on her minhag. Let's say she did the 10 and he did the 7. But at the end of the day, if it's her mitzvah, therefore she wins. For Haisif, and then he adds the important point. Since ultimately they were there for Shalom Bayis, Rosh Shaniach Habal Ishtay Lina Kafim Minhaga Afim Moment Shalei. Sha'aseh Bichlal Hashalom. Yeah, if he's a sensible husband, the whole thing of this, don't lose the bigger picture. The bigger picture is Shalom Bayis, so don't fight over this. And therefore, use the money, spend the money, and go give in and give her minhag. He says also, the minhag in many families is to light for the children, for every child one has. So he says, of a tam minhag ha'ilam, lahisif ner kol pam shenoled yelet chodosh, for every child that a person is blessed to have, they add another candle. I think that's Rabbi Yosef Chaim Zonefeld. I think shekiven shehamar bebenei rezoichel lebonim tamidei chachomim, like we just said, lochein mosifim ner kedei sheyizku abonim liyos tamidei chachomim. That's part of the silent tefillah, that for each child there should be meir mesailam. Okay, weiter in the Mishnah Berurah. Ve'ein tzrichin liyos kul al shulchan. In other words, the two, if there isn't room on the table or whatever, the two should be very close to the table. The extra ones don't have to be. Shleisha Neiros, 3 candles. If you want to add, you can add, and the Ramah says 3 candles. So he says in Mishnah Berurah Sif Katan Zayin, Mairi, that means we're talking about a woman who normally has 2. So for her to add, it means 3. If she initially used 3, if there was a knas that she forgot to light, then you have to add 1. So if she was originally doing 2, it becomes 3. If it was 3, it was 4, etc. If she forgets a few times, each time she forgets, she has to have an extra candle. It's considered a knas, a penalty for her. She should be more careful to remember to light the candles. 13. Now, interestingly, if you now, what if you have a woman who they moved into their parents for Shabbos or something like that? The imma hidlika neris, and the mother of the family lit candles. For he she's newly married, she forgot, she's not used to it yet, and she forgot, but the mother lit. Even though the wife, the daughter herself is chayiv in hadlakas neris, she's a young married now, because they were eating there Friday night, but she was going home, and therefore she also has a chiv of hadlakas neris. She still is subject to this knas and has to light the extra candle. Right, Sidej sheba'ifen zeh lo ykonsu chacham kimishi tzarchi bayis zeh mutolim aleha. Ein tzarchi bayis zeh mutolim aleha. It's not really a knas. You don't need to penalize her. So therefore, in other words, if a young couple go to the parents for Shabbos and the mother has lit, but the wife forgot to, the young girl forgot to, this is a machlekas Rav Moshe and Rav Vozna. Rav Moshe says she needs to light an extra candle every week, and Rav Vozna says not. Okay, V'alkein im nensa. If a woman is an onus, it wasn't her fault. She was imprisoned. She doesn't need to add. It's dafka if she was shege, if it wasn't her, if it was there was some culpability. If she's poor, you can don't impose the knas because it will be quite a burden on her to have an extra candle. To add a bit more oil, one extra candle for every Shabbos of her life. But if she's lighting candles, you just make a slightly longer candle, or just add a bit more oil to the bowl. Good. Okay, base. Now, it's a chiv on the house. Whether there are men or women there needs to be a ner dolok on Shabbos. Even if a person, sadly has not got what to eat, he needs to go and borrow money, knock on doors and borrow money, to light Shabbos candles. Says the Mishnah Berurah, we're not talking about a situation where the guy literally has nothing to eat, because the Shabbos, because there the actual challah, the bread, comes first. The Chaim misses kiddush v'gam ikasud Shabbos, because if he's got very limited means, then he should use the limited money to buy challahs, because through that he can make kiddush on the challahs, and he's got a minimal suda Shabbos. And that he hasn't got additional food. I.e., he's getting a handout from stocker. But still, he should make a point of there being a ner for Shabbos. Or if someone's got limited funds, mitzvah lechem l'sudas Shabbos kodim lakol. Like we just said, the mitzvah of the challah comes first. The ner l'Shabbos kodim likach misham ma'cholim, and then the ner Shabbos, and then comes other food. Why? To after Shamacholim Abasu Gamkein Bichlat Nik Shabbos, to buy nice food for Shabbos is part of the mitzvah of Nik Shabbos. Mikol Makom Ner Odiv Yosem Mishum Shalom Bayis. Right, Uchud Lekamon. Miu Mishum Ner Dai Ner Echad Lechud Vashar Yosem Macholi Shabbos Kadamrin Begemara Dafilu Oni Tzarich Lasis Dov Muad Lekovat Shabbos V'Ay Mashi Kosav Nulel B'Simin Reish Sam Reish Min Beis. Sorry, B'Mishnah Berurah. So in other words, a person with very limited means, the order is first you buy the challah, because thereby you can make kiddush and you've got ikka suda Shabbos. Then you spend the money on the ner for shalom bayis, and then the third thing is you buy the extra Shabbos food. That's the order. Al hapsochim, a person should be borrowing money to who ikka einik suda Shabbos, to have proper food, not just challah. You only need to do one candle for that if you're on limited means. Let's just do Gimel. This is a very, very interesting halacha. Gimel. Hanoshim musaris by Yosef. Now the minhag is across the Jewish world that in a family home the wife lights hadlokas neiros. The simple reason is because they are generally more at home and they are more overseeing the running of the house. If a person's they can't afford to buy ner Shabbos for Kiddush Hayom, they can't afford both. Then what do? Do you spend the money on hadlokas neiros or on Kiddush Hayom? So ner Shabbos koydem. V'chein im yodem aseges liknes ner Shabbos v'ner Chanukah. So too, if you've got a clash of ner Shabbos, ner Chanukah, ner Shabbos koydem is from Shalom Bayis, because ner Shabbos, Shalom Bayis comes first. Famous ma'aser with the Chaim. That one time he had a guest staying with him, and the guest was wondering when's the Chavetz Chaim going to light. All the various rules, Shkia, Nacht, and the time was moving on. He wasn't lighting at all. And they're carrying on and on and on, it wasn't lighting. And Bekitza, many hours later, his wife comes home, and then he lights candles. So they said to him, aren't you going to light earlier? So he said, listen, this halacha, ner Chanukah, ner Shabbos koydem. Why? Because of Shalom Bayis. So for me, because Shalom Bayis trumps, and therefore if I've got a clash of ner Chanukah and ner Shabbos, the ner Shabbos comes first because of Shalom Bayis. So I should be makbid on the chumrah of writing, the hidur of writing the Chanukah candles early, that on the expense of Shalom Bayis. Doesn't make sense. And Mishum Shalom Bayis, he waited for his wife. There ain't Shalom Bayis below ner. There's no Shalom Bayis without a candle. If you've got the clash of yain lekiddush and ner Chanukah, ayin lekaman simen tov reish ayin ches. Okay, says the Mishnah Berurah Yud Aleph, hanoshim muzharos. Even if the husband says, I want this mitzvah, I want to light Shabbos candles, for Isha Kedemes, the wife comes first. Unless there are a lot of candles, so he can light some of the additional candles. When she gives birth, the Baal makes the husband lights and makes the bracha. Now, if you look at 17, why is that? Why is it that a week after childbirth the husband lights? So the Pasha Pshat is, he quotes in 17, V'tama dova kosav agon, Frankel, shekivin she'eno ish yechayla lahadlik es haneres b'mkoimam, mipnei she'eno yechayla lokum mitosa. She's bedbound, she's just recovering from childbirth. L'kach yadlikim bayla, that is a practical reason. If she can, then put the Shabbos candles next to her bed and she can light there. That's possible. Rabbi Yashiv says that she should light. Yeah, so it depends on the Matthias. It's all a practical thing. If she's in hospital or she's not able to, then let the husband light. I've always felt that one of the reasons is because the Kitzur says that she's mechaber. Why does she light the candles? Another reason is not because of the practical reason that the mechaber gave, because she was mechaber the ner of the world. That she brought Misa into the world by eating, by tempting Adam Rishon, by giving him the apple to eat, and he succumbed, and therefore bring Misa into the world. So therefore it's a knas for her, as if she's got to bring light back into the world. She brought death and darkness into the world, so she's got to bring light back into the world. That week she did her bit. Yeah, she brought a child into the world, and therefore it's not necessary for her to light Shabbos candles, and that's what I've always felt. Okay.
If they both can't light for some reason, can somebody else?
Yeah, so you can make a shliach. So if you carry on the footnote 17, it's she'eino isha b'bayis, so she'ein bev sherusa l'hadik zaneres, ta'asek on Rabbi Yashiv she'bonis habayis ha'gedolos they can light. So you have the adult girls to light, etc. Okay, let's just finish off the Mishnah Berurah. Sif Cotton Yud Beis. Another reason is oh, that's what I just said. The man should do something. That's my job at home. One of my jobs is to be mesak in the neiros. Interestingly, if you look at 20, there's a very geschmack diuk of Rabbi Kiva Eiger. In Mishnah, he says, the Mishnah in Shabbos says, Al sholosh averis noshim meses b'shas leidoson. Al she'enon zehiris benida b'chala uvadlokas neiros. V'loi kosuv hatana uvener. It says kamesha kosuv legabe nida v'chala. Loimar she'enon noshim mitzuvas al tikun haner ela hadloka. So it's a very geschmack diuk. Yeah, it says the woman is for Gimel. There are three areas where she's got to be focused on. Three averas that misa comes for a woman. Yeah, one is for b'shas leida. One is ein zehiris benida b'chala uvadlokas haner. So it's dafka the hadlok of the ner. Why? Because the tikkun haner, maybe that should be the job of the husband. Okay, let's carry on. Ner koydem Shabbos koydem. So if you got a clash of Kiddush and Ner Shabbos comes first. V'afal gav the Kiddush Doraisa, mikol makom al hayayin d'Rabbanon, min Torah yetzer b'tefillah. You can be yetzer Kiddush midoraisa from tefillah, and therefore they're both Rabbanon. So commission ifta b'simin Reisha and Aleph, v'oid ha'yochel l'kadosh lapas, and furthermore, he can make Kiddush on wine. On bread. Interestingly, in 21 he says, you've got electric lights. Nowadays, wine actually comes first before hadlokas neros, because you've got light in the house, and therefore the light, the Shabbos candles are only extra candles, extra light. So therefore, taka nowadays the rule will be different, and yain for kiddush will actually come before the hadlokas neros. Okay, mishum. What?
Still a knas.
Yeah, okay. Mishum Shalom, no, but we're talking about a situation where there's limited means and which one's come first. Okay, Mishum Shalom bias. So if you've got a limited budget and you can only buy for Ner Shabbos or Ner Chanukah, Ner Shabbos comes first because of Shalom bias. And if you've got one candle, that's enough. And the extra money you can do on Kiddush or Ner Chanukah. For Ner Chanukah as well, if a person has a very, very limited means, you can use just one candle. If you've got enough, people are so destitute, you've got enough for one candle for Shabbos and one for Chanukah and a bit more, nearly the Tov Yosef Diknos Oid Neres LaChanukah, the Yosmin HaMahadrin. Because better to use the extra money for Chanukah than for Shabbos. Okay. Because of Mogan Avram, the Isha Suma Gamkein Yichel Levorech on their Shabbos. A blind woman can also make the bracha on their Shabbos because she benefits from the lights. Why? Because other people can see, and that helps her. If you've got a husband who can see, who yivarech, he should make the bracha. If you're sitting on one table where others made the bracha and lit, she should not make the bracha. And for her, there's no extra. The fact there's extra light is not going to be a simcha for her. Okay, say that we'll leave it there.